we are going to work on and the mural that we are going to be doing is the one at your school. That is right there by the field. That mural, I'm not quite sure when it was first put up, but as of right now, it's kind of really falling apart and big chunks of it are falling off. And we are gonna walk over to Washington Middle School. Every group of 3 kids will get 1 camera, and you guys share if you're like, ooh, I see this. Take a picture of it. And I have a camera too. I'm gonna be taking pictures of things that I think are interesting. And when we get to Washington Middle School, we will also look at the mural itself. Basically, what we are going to be painting and drawing in this class is portraits of plants. Okay, so not a portrait of anything else, but a portrait of plants. And somehow we're going to relate a story to that. Okay, and eventually these portraits that you guys do of plants will go on to the big wall. In my graffiti days, I was doing a lot of different kinds of drawing. And drawing things that were culturally relevant to myself. So what I mean by culturally relevant is I'm Chicana and I'm Navajo. So I wanted to paint things that meant something to me, to those sides of my culture. That was really important to me because I felt like I didn't see it enough. I felt like I didn't see those kind of things enough in just the art world or in pop culture. So I started doing images that I really wanted to see, kind of using my illustrative side to really just bring that out. I, as an artist, I'm a painter, I'm a drawer, I'm an illustrator, and I'm a muralist. I'm a teacher. You're changing an environment. And it's kind of an exciting thing, and it's a huge responsibility. So in the murals that I create, I like them to kind of be a reflection. It's only going to be meant for Washington Middle School. It's not a mural that I could go and take and put it in Washington, D.C. It's not a mural that I would want to go and put in California. It's not a mural that I would even want to put on East Central. Okay? It's going to be specifically designed for your school, and it's going to be a reflection of the community. So you guys' school is in the neighborhood of Barelas. And Barelas is a very old community. And it existed here before your school was here. It existed here because it had a close relationship to downtown and to the rail yards. So when we take our walk today, I want us to look at the plants that have existed in this area, that are like sprouting up through the cracks in the sidewalks, the ones that are kind of like stuck on some kind of median, that are just kind of sprawling about. So do you guys know what kind of plants I'm talking about?
Weeds.
Weeds. We call them weeds, but they're plants, and they have a resilience of kind of staying within this region despite houses being built, despite sidewalks being kind of plowed over them. And that's kind of the way that I see with the people of this community. It's probably changed so many times in hundreds of years, but yet there's still a history here from the people and the plants and the animals.
I had taught a class with the students, and it was a painting class, and that was just to teach them also my method of painting, how I paint, what I look for, my style of work, the way that I handle highlights and shading, and all of these techniques of painting. And that was really helpful because a lot of the kids had never painted before. It gave them a chance to really study their environment, study what they were doing. Sometimes with painting, I think it becomes a lot more expressive act, and with kids, it's just a lot of the times we neglect that they can handle something with a lot of technical ability, so we just kind of let them make a mess with paint. And I was really wanting to teach them technical painting, and so it gave me a chance to do that. It gave them a chance to refine their approach as students. That way, when we came on a larger scale, they understood the sensitivity of when they could kind of be freer, block in a bunch of color, but then also when they had to tone it down and they had to really focus on putting highlights in the right place and putting shadows in the right place, making straight lines, making clean lines, all of those things. And the only way for me to show them the usefulness of these plants was to have somebody far more experienced than I talk about it. Maclovia Zamora, she has been an herbalist in this community for decades, and her shop is located in this neighborhood. She is a wealth of knowledge, and she's really a living treasure. And I wanted the kids to hear it from her, other than me or a textbook or something like that, because she's real. She's a real person. She has real experience, real knowledge, real herbs, and it's an applied science. So I really wanted them to understand the connections between all of these elements, and she was an essential part of this. Maclovia Zamora, she is a very old herbalist who has a shop here in Barelas off of 4th Street. She knows all about the medicinal properties of plants. And she has a whole shop that has herbs and lots of different tinctures and things. And she's gonna talk to us about some of these plants, okay, and what their hidden secrets are and what they're good used for. Because as you guys may or may not know, this is like a whole pharmacy right in front of us. People used to know all of these properties before they could readily go out and buy a pill, okay?
This is the oldest drugstore, and we started with plants and we're going to end with plants. My grandmother was a curandera.
I'm we finally got on that wall, it was a lot bigger than I thought it
Yeah,
was.
that's what but it also feels a little trite because it's like you're just shoveling
Yeah.
the dirt. You're not
It's
really
like,
making
yeah,
a
here's
lot
some
of
little
impact.
flakes on
Yeah.
this gigantic wall.
Right, like,
It's
I don't
crazy.
know. I mean, it was symbolic in that sense, but,
Yeah.
you know, you felt like you should
It
do
was
a lot
like
more
peeling postage stamps off a whale one by one.
Yeah, it doesn't look so big from here, but when you start working on it, you see it. It's huge.
Well, we own a business downtown and we live downtown, and I'm also on the Downtown Albuquerque Main Street board. And walking to work every day, we would always walk past Washington Middle School, and one of the things we would see every day would be the old mural, and year after year it would deteriorate a little bit more. So that was the thing that we noticed, and especially when we put our oldest daughter into the school, the deterioration of the mural somehow in our minds was connected with a perception of neglect with the school, and we didn't want to think of our downtown middle school as neglected. So we started to generate ideas, and one of them was, what could we do with that big beautiful wall and that big beautiful mural?
We were working on a project with our business that involved us kind of researching the murals downtown to see what artists were doing it, what organizations were involved with the making of the murals. And so we happened upon Working Classroom and Gabrielle there, and it just started in the conversation. We found out that really Working Classroom had its roots with Washington Middle School. So we said, would you be interested in, you know, kind of working on that mural if we could get something going? And she jumped right in, was totally on board. She told us, go for the neighborhood grant, and you know, if you go for that first with your neighborhood association, we can match the funding.
Well, I had gone to my neighborhood association about a year ago with hopes that I could generate some interest in our public schools. And so this mural project came about, and then they were interested in helping with that.
The school and all of the people at the school, our neighborhood, the downtown business community has stepped in and given money, and they've helped with it. So, I mean, the community is big that's helped with this project. It's not just been a few neighbors or anything.
It became apparent to us when we started this project that there's a lot of positive feeling towards Washington Middle School, and that couldn't have been better demonstrated than how they reacted when we told them what we were doing. The grant that we got from, very generous grant we got from the Bernalillo County Neighborhood Outreach Program was great, but we needed more money because they expanded the size of the mural, and the community just pitched in. Everybody either gave money, gave time, wanted to be a part of it, donated services,
promoted it,
and
yeah.
it just really, it makes me proud to live in this community just by working with them and seeing how everybody came together for this thing. It's a really fantastic thing.
Projecting is we projected this mural onto the wall because we were kind of working against a lot of factors, mainly one of them being time and being able just to get something on the wall. But it's always an amazing process when you do murals in that way. Of course, there's many different techniques to get an image on the wall, and because you kind of get this glimpse for just a moment of what it's actually going to look like, and it's really motivating and kind of this beautiful experience being outside at night just getting this preview of what you get to see.
So, nuestro muro está adentro de nuestra escuela y como los niños están acostumbrados a ver otra cosa y al ver algo nuevo se van a emocionar y van a querer admirarlo más de cerca.
I think it'll make our community look much better because it'll look like new, they'll add something to look at and add more interest to our community. It's really cool being able to work with other people. It's really awesome getting to work with someone that's really good, and like all the things that she knows is really amazing.
The children that are in the mural, the picture of them, they're the new generation as us, and the old plants that have been here for a very, very long time, they represent the old people that have stuck through and lived through all the harsh times.
The plants, it's mostly the plants that we see here in New Mexico growing like in the cracks, like in the street. Well, it just shows that we've been here for a really long time, and that like even though we struggle to like find a way to survive, like we're still here. We're still growing in between the cracks.
Which is really takes a lot of strength to be like pushing out concrete and butterflies that fly a really long way every year.
Well, the butterflies are supposed to represent like strength because they look fragile, but they're strong.
They're like intelligent creatures. That's why we picked those.
They are really like frail, but in big groups, they can change a lot.
I guess everyone who worked on this mural is strong, like the butterflies. I mean, this mural has been more hard labor than painting, so. I just think that it represents new life because we're starting over with the mural and it's just bringing more life into this community again. It's gonna be amazing.
Just being able to do the mural with my friends and having fun.
I think the mural itself, the painting, is really representative of Washington and this community because it's called resilience because this community has been so resilient to everything that's come around it and the school. It means that everybody kind of stayed here no matter like what it's been through, and the city's growing and everybody has still stayed here no matter that there's still a city around them, the neighborhood is still here.
You should really become a part of your community and start doing things like this. It'll really help with a lot of things.
you.